And in our business stories, His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the chairman of the Crown Prince Court of Abu Dhabi and member of the Supreme Petroleum Council, has attended the opening of the 18th edition of ADIPEC 2015, the Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference. During the opening of ADIPEC at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Centre, His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Zayed Al Nahyan, as well as the UAE Minister of Energy, His Excellency Suhail bin Mohammed Faraj Faris Al Mazroui, and his high-level delegation toured various stands of national and international oil companies and other key partners. While speaking to a number of ministers, industry chiefs and top oil and gas professionals from across the globe, His Highness was briefed about the latest technologies and innovations used in extracting oil. During a session on the challenges and opportunities faced by oil companies at a time of lower oil prices, the UAE representatives of the international oil company Total stated that with oil prices slashing more than 60% in the last 12 months, the company has devised a clear-cut strategy to reduce operational costs, as they believe the current business model is not working. Total representatives added that oil fields around the world are running dry and new technologies and innovations are necessary to meet the energy demands of the future generations.
The drop in oil prices has two impacts. One of them is that it has forced the oil companies to be more lean. We had a few years where the price was very high. Maybe some of the companies were overspending. And I think that the fact that the price has gone down has forced us to be more efficient and has forced us to be more lean. At the same time, working in a country like Abu Dhabi or the United Arab Emirates, where the operating costs, the costs of production are lower than other parts of the world, shows that you always need to be in this part of the world because you will always have a profitable production even if the oil price goes down.
Talking about how technology has enabled oil and gas companies to target new oil fields, representatives of the oil and gas giant British Petroleum BP stated that unlike before, companies these days are benefiting from advanced exploration technologies, and this has greatly helped them in finding newer oil and gas reserves. Meanwhile, 14 national oil companies and 16 international oil companies are taking part in ADIPEC this year, and it is expected that more than 85,000 people will visit the four-day event.
One particular technology in that area is enhanced oil recovery, and that's where we actually make sure that we maximize the actual recovery of oil and gas that we get from these reservoirs. And we use technologies such as water or modified water to ensure that we strip as much oil from the actual rock surfaces as possible and actually make sure that is produced. We also use gases, designer gases, mixture of gases for the same reason, to actually ensure that we strip as much oil out of the pore spaces in the rock as possible. And we also use technologies such as seismic. Seismic is the means by which we can see the subsurface. And there are technologies now which are always improving the ability to image the subsurface, and that's ever improved by the digital capacities and capabilities that we have.
Emirates Airline has announced that it will continue to monitor the performance data of both Airbus A350-900 and the Boeing 787-10 while reviewing the capacity at Dubai International before a decision is made on the next purchase. The announcement came during the participation at the Dubai Air Show, where a senior official from the airline was quoted as saying that the decision on their purchases will not be made this year, primarily due to space constraints, with the airport running at full capacity of 70 million passengers a year. According to earlier reports, Dubai's flagship carrier had said that it was looking at an order for 50 to 70 twin-aisle jets. However, the airline had cancelled the order for 70 A350 planes in June 2014, which were worth about $16 billion at 2007 list prices. Meanwhile, the airline has also announced that it is considering issuing up to $1 billion in bonds next year to finance over 30 new aircraft due for delivery next year. As per the orders, Emirates has around 270 additional aircraft on order, worth a total of $129 billion at list prices, which includes 46 Boeing 777-300ERs, 115 Boeing 777-9Xs, 35 Boeing 777-8Xs and 74 Airbus A380s. Commenting on the decision over their next purchase, the airline COO stated that they will continue to evaluate the performance data of both the aircraft and their requirements before making a decision.
I think when you look at the capacity of that aircraft and the range of that aircraft, definitely Emirates can make a good use of either one of these aircraft. We have been engaged with the two manufacturers, the Airbus and the Boeing, and try to understand better each aircraft capabilities. We have a better knowledge from each one of them. Also, each one of the manufacturers have improved on this aircraft. As you know, the aircraft initially have come up with a heavier weight, and they tried to compensate by improving some of its fuel efficiency and trying to take weight of that program and trying to improve its range. Obviously, the two aircraft will fit nicely with Emirates requirement for that type of range and that type of capacity. But the airline is not yet ready to make any decision on either one of these aircraft, as we are reviewing the capacity constraint currently we have at the Dubai International Airport. So once we sort out exactly the capacity available to deploy additional aircraft, I'm sure the airline will make the right decision then.
Meanwhile, Emirates received their 68th brand new A380 during the air show, which is also the first double-decker aircraft with a two-class configuration. The event also witnessed Qatar Airways showcasing its A380 and an A350, along with the 25th Boeing 787 Dreamliner it received at the show. Commenting on the two-class A380, the COO of Emirates added that they will operate a total of 4 such aircraft in March 2016, with additional 11 aircraft expected over the next few years.
It's an aircraft that's got a capacity of 615-seater, 74 seat for the business premium class, and the rest is for the remaining economy. It's for the first time the economy passengers or the tourists will be able to enjoy the upper deck as an economy. So that aircraft, that section will be divided into 1/3 economy and 2/3 of it for the business class. There is a good demand for that capacity. We have already planned the aircraft to be used for specific destinations. The first one will be Copenhagen. We'll be flying that, I think, somewhere about 1st of December. Then we're going to follow it to a destination like Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Birmingham, possibly Manila, and so on.
And staying with aviation, a new report by Airbus has revealed that air traffic in the Middle East is expected to grow by 6% over the next 20 years, with a need for nearly 2,460 passenger and freighter aircraft. According to the report launched on the sidelines of the Dubai Air Show, Airbus has stated that the regional air traffic is growing well above the global average of around 4.6%. The report added that as per the amount of aircraft required, nearly 1,890 planes will be required for growth and 570 for replacements. Furthermore, as per their estimates, the fleet of passenger and freighter aircraft in the Middle East region will almost treble from nearly 1,100 in 2015 to over 2,950 by 2034. With 90% of the world connected via the Middle East, the report estimated that the region will require some 1,570 wide-body aircraft by 2034 to meet demand of their long-haul services. Commenting on the findings, the COO of Airbus was quoted as saying that emerging economies with growing middle classes will continue to be a strong catalyst for air traffic growth, while the Middle East's position as a global crossroad will support the demand for wide-bodied aircraft. Dubai's private sector recorded its slowest growth in more than 5 years last month, with the expansion of business activity at a 68-month low. According to the findings, Emirates NBD Dubai Economy Tracker, the slowdown was led by declines in the travel and tourism sector. The October report added that output and new orders both expanded at or close to multi-year lows, while private sector firms raised their staff numbers at the weakest rate in nearly 4 years. Business activity remained just above the neutral 50.0 value at 51.4, but this was significantly down on the 56.0 reading for September. Last week, it was revealed that growth in the UAE's non-oil economy slowed to its lowest rate in 30 months, while growth in Saudi Arabia dipped to its lowest level since surveys began in 2009. The UAE's PMI score dipped to 54 in October, its lowest level since March 2013. In Saudi Arabia, the index dropped to 55.7, the lowest score recorded for the kingdom.